as you could probably tell either from the thumbnail or the title of this video, I now have a flip phone. Yeah, isn't she beautiful? I have the alt mive style folder. I think there's a second one, but I have the first one. I feel like it's a relatively popular phone that gets brought up in conversations when people mention modern day flip phones. So because I have one, I thought I just kind of wanted to talk about it, just give some insight on my firsthand experience with the flip phone. Let's start off with why I wanted to get a flip phone. I feel like more and more within these past few years, more people have been showing their disdain for their smartphone, and we're a little bit more done with social media and feeling like we are these passive consumers that are being preyed upon. I feel like it's a sentiment that a lot of us have. I feel like it's this internal feeling that I don't really need to point out. I do feel like a lot of people, I mentioned oh yeah, I don't have social media on my phone anymore, and they're like, man, I wish I could do that. I feel like there is this shared sentiment of just kind of not really enjoying modern technology. Also, I really wanted the fun and whimsy of having a flip phone. It's so fun. I know, again, a lot of people have made videos on this, that how technology is becoming less exciting and how there's been a lot less tactical things of phone anymore. What am I trying to say? Basically, I just wanted something that wasn't black box. There are buttons that I can press, I can flip things open. It's just so fun to touch. I also can customize it, I guess in theory you can customize your phone like a smartphone to an extent. It's just so much more fun and whimsy, and it feels like it expresses my personality. Also, I've just always wanted a flip phone. I feel like childhood me was robbed of a flip phone. In my head, a flip phone is the teenage experience, and that was what I was promised. However, whenever I became old enough to have a phone, it was a smartphone. So I just I missed out. Guys. I just always wanted to be like my older siblings, and I couldn't. So yeah, that's kind of the surface level of why I got a flip phone. But honestly, the biggest reason that I got a flip phone is because I have been on a digital minimalism journey this year. So yes, I recently started this side quest where I just wanted to get off my phone and become less online in general. I've semi-recently gotten more and more into digital minimalism, and I have been slowly finding ways to transition over from my old hyper-connected online world that I used to be glued to. So a little antidote. At the beginning of this year, my anxiety levels were at an all-time high. This was really worrying to me because I don't really consider anxiety to be a main ingredient of my mental illness soup, if you catch my drift. So I knew something had to change. And when I took a step back and tried to reflect of why this might be, I came to the conclusion that a big part of it was my phone. Now, I do want to clarify that the problem wasn't just my phone. I do live in the US, and I think that we all know a pretty big change happened in January of this year. So yeah, I do think that that's ultimately the root of my anxiety, but I do think that my phone and doom scrolling all the time didn't help anything. I definitely think that exacerbated the problem. It was here that I started to really get into digital minimalism. I tried to take as many steps as I could to unplug. I don't really consider it a digital detox. I wanted it to be a meaningful, long-lasting change in my behavior with my relationship to social media and technology. So yeah, this is more than a digital detox. I personally don't think those truly work unless you change something. So yeah, this is me getting into the weeds, but that's okay, I'm gonna move on. For a while, I turned my smartphone into a pretty dumb phone. I deleted all my apps. I also turned my phone into grayscale, so it was less appealing to me. So ultimately, it was pretty good. If you don't want to spend money on a new phone, I don't think you have to. I will say that it wasn't 100% good. It wasn't foolproof. I did cave and download a few mobile games here or there. I was also spending more time than I would have liked to have reading AO3 on my phone. So after a few months, I decided that I wanted to fully commit and get a flip phone. Let's move on to picking a phone. Now, I will go ahead and say it. The alt mive style folder is not a dumb phone. In fact, a lot of people would argue that it's a full smartphone. However, I believe that it falls within the spectrum of dumber phone. I will be completely honest, I was scared to go for an actual dumb phone. As much as I hate to admit it, I don't want to lose all the convenience of a smartphone. I have to pull up the Planet Fitness app so I can scan into the gym. There's also an app on my phone that I use to clock in and out of work every day, so that was also something that I wanted to be able to preserve. Additionally, my boyfriend lives in Ireland, so if I ever wanted to talk to him using my phone, I would need to have some device that has access to WhatsApp or some other like online messaging service. I will say that the way that I have my phone set up right now, it definitely doesn't feel like a smartphone. I do have the bare minimum on my phone, so I will show you guys an in-depth setup in a second. This phone for me personally is enough of an inconvenience where it makes you not want to use it, you know? But I will say that it does have the temptation there because it technically can run social media. It technically can like go on YouTube. It won't be a great experience, but if it still has the capacity to do that, so that could be a pro, that could be a con. Now, actually deciding on what phone to buy was really difficult. I desperately wanted a Japanese flip phone, actually. I just really prefer the size and the designs of the Kyocera phones. However, while doing research, I learned about phone signals and different bands. And long story short, based on where I live and what service provider I have, I wouldn't be able to get service with a Japanese phone. Like, I think you have to like be in the perfect location with the exact right like phone service provider to get a Kyocera or a Japanese phone to work here. And I just didn't want to take that risk. I personally am not a collector, so I wanted a phone that I would be able to use like full time and that I would be able to use for a long time. So as we all know, I decided on the alt mive style folder. Not only was this running a newer version of Android Go, I could also get phone service on it, which is the big thing. I personally bought my phone used on eBay. So I bought my phone for around 120 USD, which I think was a pretty good deal. I've seen other listings of this phone for closer to like $150 to $200 on eBay, so I definitely wasn't complaining with 120. Also, if you are buying a used phone, please make sure the phone is unlocked. That's also really important. When I received the phone, it was in great condition. I do think that it was used since it didn't come with the box, and the clear case that it came with looks a bit scuffed. It takes a USB-C charger cord. So I charged the phone, I plugged in my SIM card, and I set up my phone. The transition to this phone was actually the most daunting thing about the whole process. Before this phone, I had an iPhone. Now, the actual transition between iPhones and Androids have become a bit more streamlined. Like, I believe that you can just connect your old phone to your new phone and everything now transfers. However, the problem for me is that I didn't want everything to transfer. The whole point of getting this new phone was that it wouldn't have all the apps and photos my old phone had. No, I wanted to migrate off my phone, which was a challenge of itself. Months before I made the switch, I went through the awful task of going through all of the photos on my phone. In case you were wondering, there was over 12,000 photos on my phone, which isn't that bad. However, it took me weeks of slowly going through my camera roll, and I whittled down the number to just over 1,000 photos. I then took these photos, sorted them into albums, and then downloaded them on my external hard drive. I also took this as an opportunity to go through my contacts. There were a lot of contacts that I truly did not need anymore. I had contacts of people I worked in group projects with from high school. I also took the time to set up a physical password book. I'm not going to show it on camera because of like security reasons. I guess in case you break into my house, you won't know which book is my password book. I do have like an old notebook just so it's handy to remember and that it's not lost in the cloud somewhere. Setting up my new phone was also a challenge. I think it would be less of a challenge for people who were already familiar with Androids, but I was not. As I mentioned, I had an Apple, so I just didn't really know any like Android language or setup or know the settings. It was just a learning curve. It took me so long to just like understand the settings menu. However, I eventually figured it out. Just like anything, you just will learn it. There was also so much bloatware on my phone. Like the phone came with every single Google app and I hated it. I had to manually go and delete like every single app on my phone because it had like YouTube and Google Drive. And I think it even had like Google Sheets on my phone. Like who is going to Google Sheets from their phone? Speaking of Google, I really don't like that this phone makes me feel like I am even more plugged into Google. It just makes me feel uncomfortable that I had to enter my Google address to even set up my phone. Like, why do you need my Google address? I just need to call someone. So yeah, I personally did not really like that about it. So, ding. I think I did enough yapping for now, and I actually want to take a look at my phone. I think I might have to change like the camera setup. So let me try to figure out how to do that. Okay, so we have a different angle and I'm going to show you kind of a tour of my phone. So this is the outside of the phone. You can see that I decorated it. I put some stickers on it. I decided on butterfly because I feel like this gives like the most like 2010 vibe. I was originally going to put the stickers on the case itself, but I just decided against it. And then on the back I have a little like Miku sticker that I think is like a fun Easter egg for myself. Then also made these two phone charms. There is like a phone charm like holder built into the phone. You can also see a headphone jack. Yeah, here are two keychains that I made, or phone charms that I made. This one says Luca Luca Night Fever. Obviously it's pink because Luca Luca Night Fever. And then I just made another purple one because I wanted to add a little something extra to my phone. So yeah, I think both of these are really cute. You can see on the back that there is a camera and the speaker. There's also like a little flashlight here, so if you turn on the flashlight or if you took a photo with flash, it's here. Here on this side is where you would take the SIM card in and out. Here are volume buttons on the side. There's also, here's the charger, which is a USB-C, as I mentioned. And then on this side is the headphone jack. And there's this like button. I don't really know what the official name for this button is. Again, I didn't get it in the box, so I don't have like the owner's manual. And I'm sure if I did, it would probably be in Korean. But basically what I have this button do is if you hold it for 5 seconds, it will send your coordinates to an emergency contact. And then let's open the phone, and there you go. Here's my phone. You can actually choose to have your phone locked. However, I chose to leave it unlocked whenever I opened it, just because unlocking my phone was such a hassle. There was no way to unlock my phone fully on the keyboard. I had to like touch the screen to unlock my phone, which I just didn't really like. I'm trying to keep my phone to feel as much like a flip phone than a smartphone. So the least amount of interaction I can have with my screen, the better. Here's what the keyboard looks like. I can't easily fit both of these in frame at the same time. It's a really big phone, as you can see. Like here are both of my hands. Like it's really big. It's very big, which is why I personally wanted the Japanese flip phone, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. Here's the keypad in Korean, but you can also see the English. And then here is the screen itself. I'll give you a little walkthrough of my phone. I personally am using the Nova launcher to launch my phones. I have Batman, like a Batman collage that I found online as my background. I really liked it. It was clean, black and white. I didn't have to like worry about customizing my phone. I have the time and weather on my home screen. This is a little widget that I was able to do with like a weather app I installed. I have it for Amsterdam just because security reasons. I didn't want to give you guys my like exact location, but I can change it to be my exact location. But now you can see the time and the weather in Amsterdam. And then on the like shortcut menu, I have phone call, I have my text messages, which I think is Google Messages question mark, and then WhatsApp, and then settings, and then I can use this button to go to the next screen, which is my last screen. Here I have the clock app, photos, contacts. This is what I have to log on into my work. This is Storygraph, just because I do like the convenience of like logging what I read. This is empty right now. It is my bank app, normally goes here. I did remove it from the screen, so you would not know where I bank. Again, security reasons. I also have NordVPN on my phone. I have Fitbit and my Planet Fitness app that I was telling you about. So that's kind of pretty much my entire phone. I do have some other apps that I don't make as convenient. For example, I have Google Maps on here. That was also a big selling point of still having a smartphone, is I wanted to be able to like still access GPS in case, just a general in case. So that's basically the overview of my phone. It's nothing special, but that's what I love about it, is that like I open it and there's literally no reason for me to have it open any other time besides responding to something. Fun fact, I could not find my phone for like 30 minutes before filming this video because that's how often I just am not on my phone. And so I really do love that. Now, there are a few things that I want to particularly point out about this phone and like what I use to make it more functional. I already mentioned Nova Launcher. That's the way that I was able to make my phone look like this. And it really helped me like streamline everything and make it as simple as possible. I also highly recommend you download the TT9. It's a keyboard. Man, I'm really bad at showing this. It's TT9. It's basically a keyboard that allows you to text semi easier. Like, it still sucks to text on this phone, but it's a lot better. Another thing that annoys me about my phone that like is actually a kind of a big thing, I don't know if it's me, I don't know if it's Nova Launcher, but I have a really hard time getting notifications on my phone. So I did go and turn off like pop-up notifications as much as I could, but I have it turned on in settings where I should have a little like red dot on the app that has like a notification. So if I had a text message, I would be able to see that I had a text message. However, my phone doesn't do that. So like I kind of just have to guess. Like I just have to like take initiative like once every few hours to just like go through all of my like messaging apps just to make sure I didn't miss anything. My kind of workaround is I do have a Fitbit. I don't have my Fitbit on currently, but I do have a Fitbit, so I at least get like a wrist vibration every time someone texts me. I personally don't get enough texts in my life where it becomes a problem, but I definitely can understand that if you have like a lot of notifications, that it would be annoying to have it on your wrist. Again, I turn off all notifications other than like WhatsApp, text messaging, and phone calls. The battery life is not great. It's not bad. I do find myself charging it like every day and a half. It drains so fast considering how little I use it. Like I could genuinely keep my phone closed all day and my phone would still drain 50%. But this is how I had my phone set up. I think it's really pretty, really cute. I think it does everything I need it to do. It's like enough of a convenience where if things are really dire, I can open this up, but it's enough of an inconvenience that like I never want to. Like I genuinely don't even like texting people. I like immediately call them if I can. I highly recommend it if that is what you're looking for.
Hey everyone, quick editing Malia chiming in here. I just wanted to add a few more things just in case you are watching this video and you are considering this phone. I wanted to give you all the details that I apparently forgot to include the first time. The first thing I do want to mention is that it does not scan QR codes. So if you are in a place where you constantly have to scan QR codes, it does not naturally do that. I'm sure that there's probably like an app that might scan QR codes. So you might need to just get like a third-party extension if you are at a place where you constantly need to scan QR codes. It does have a camera, a front-facing camera and a back-facing camera, as I showed you. They're not bad. I did not like give you a good example of them. And I don't really have examples to put up on screen. Maybe I'll take like a photo or two and have it on screen right now. But I personally don't love it. Like I wouldn't use it as my primary camera. So I would also add that in there. And then the third thing that I also want to mention is that there's no like, I don't know what it's called, the RFID. Am I thinking of the right thing? Basically, there's no like tap to pay. So if you use like Google Pay or like Apple Pay, like there's no way to do that on this phone. You can't like tap it and it like get your deets. So yeah, I just wanted to add that in there just in case.
The thought of not having a phone or not having a smartphone on you is more scary than like the act of like not having a smartphone on you. Like I promise you, like less than a decade ago, this is how people lived. Like you will be fine if you are not on Instagram on your phone 24/7. It'll actually be better for you. For me, my move to a flip phone hopefully is part of an overall like behavioral relationship change with technology. So that's where I'm coming from. This video is primarily just speaking about the phone itself. I do plan on making a video talking about how I've like decentralized my phone and some like more lifestyle experience changes that I've had, but I feel like I'm still kind of in the early stages of this. Well, with that being said, thank you so much for watching my video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out some of my other videos while you're here too. That would be really epic and cool. And keep a lookout for my future videos maybe. So yeah, see you next time, or maybe not. Bye.